What's up, you guys? I'm over here to drop my baby off at school. Like it's funny because last 2 weeks ago when she first started, I was crying and stuff, but I'm getting better and better with it now. Like I'm happy that I get a little breather to just get stuff done and to have peace and quiet for a change. But I really wanted to get on here, talk to y'all. I'm walking around the mall like the old people in here doing. That's what they in here doing, walking around. It's so funny because that's what I really wanted to talk to y'all about. It's how I'm 29, but I feel like I'm like 65 because I've lived such a life already. I've lived so much life. I've done so many things. So I feel like I'm just want to just be a mom. That's just what I want to do. I just want to live in my purpose. I want to work. I want to teach. I want to teach younger people to not do some of the things that I've done. But I also understand that even in doing those things, you're not supposed to live life with any regrets. This morning I was just really thinking, I know they had a Macy's in here. I used to work at Macy's, and it's so funny because when I used to work at the mall at Macy's, I used to see all these old people walking around the mall like they doing now, and like I'm doing now. They got H&M in here too. I ain't never came on this side of this mall, but I really just wanted to say, live life with no regrets. You're going to do things in life that you're not proud of. That God is not proud of. But one thing about God is he's very forgiving, whether you believe in him or not. You don't have to believe him to know that he is real, because you didn't create the ground you walk on. Your mama and your daddy, your grandparents, your granny, they pop, they didn't create the ground that you walk on. They didn't create the sky that rain falls from. They didn't create it, so someone did. So, and we know who did. It's the first paragraph of the Bible. And I'm gonna actually do a video breaking that down so I can really explain to y'all. Oh, look at the little Christmas thing. Even though, guys, I no longer Santa's workshop. I no longer celebrate Christmas Day because I'm now learning. I'm really tapping into my spirituality. Like, God has revealed a lot of things to me that's of this world, that is not of him. But we've been sold a bunch of lies and foolishness. So I now know that Christmas is a pagan holiday. So I won't be celebrating that, but we will be celebrating Kwanzaa. So I'm still going to do like some gifts to my kids and stuff. But, part of me is just like, this is not what the video is supposed to be about. Part of me is saddened because my daughter believes in Santa. And I don't really want to tell her that Santa isn't real. That's what to me makes it a childhood. Just being able to believe in the tooth fairy, believe in Santa and stuff like that. So, it's really challenging for me. But one thing about it is, I'm here to obey God. That's my father. That's who I submit to. That's who I'm obedient to. And when I know that stuff is not of him and it goes against his wishes and will for me, I just can't do it, period. It doesn't matter how I feel or how my child feel, because I'm doing it. Oh, that little dress is so cute. I just miss buying my kids all the cute stuff, guys. But in due time, I'll be able to do all of that again. But I just really am just trying to I'm trying to stay on the narrow path, and I'm trying to do things the way I know God has ordained them for us from the beginning of time. But so many of us had strayed away and did what we want. And then we got the devil, who is thinking he is running God's kingdom, and he actually is in here running rampant like he is the true leader, like he's truly the Alpha and Omega, and he's not. So because of that, we've been led astray. We've been sold so many lies, and the devil has gotten to so many of us. And because of that, let me sit down right here for a quick second. Whew. All right. And because of that is why so many things have happened to us as little kids. And it's just been an ongoing cycle of traumatic things happening. And because of that, because of the neglect, the abuse and things that a lot of us have been through as kids, we've found ourselves getting into things that we shouldn't. Mind you, kids are curious anyway, but I also think a lot of the extra curiousness comes from what we're being exposed to as little kids, so young, and that makes us curious. It makes us very curious, and when that happens, we become promiscuous, we become sometimes acting out, doing things that we know that we really shouldn't do, but we're acting out because of the things that's being done to us, as I have been talking to y'all about in my recent videos. But I just was thinking this morning, if I would have never, because I just been thinking about how all my life I've had to do so much by myself for myself, and I never really felt safe and protected until I found God this year. Well, more so it was the end of last year. But I really know God now. I really tapped. I'm really awakened. My pineal gland is officially completely open now. So because of that, I now know my purpose. And if I never would have went through all the things I went through, the good and the bad, I've been through a bunch of bad things in my life, but for all the bad, it has led me to God, and which has led me to my purpose. And so I can never really be mad. I sit back and think of some of the wildest things I've done, and I don't feel bad about it. I actually can laugh at it and just see how I have learned my lessons from those situations for real. So that's why it made me want to do this video, because oftentimes we face so much shame and so much guilt for the bad things we have done and things that we may have done when we thought nobody was looking. But one thing about God is He's always looking. He's always watching. He's always watching. That's why it's important. It's very important to do what's right even when you think nobody looking, because God sees it. This is why karma is real, because He saw it. Nobody else was around you, but yet you get your lick back for what you did. Just like that lady this morning. I was actually ranting to y'all, but I ain't even post the video, because sometimes I just do videos just to vent, but I don't post it because I just want to get it out. But I literally almost banged that bitch. She tried, she was going to hit me while I was walking across the street with my daughter. Then she gonna have the nerve to go like this to me and give me the finger. I walked up. And that's why I even apologize to God for that, because I know I don't have to do that. I'm so used to protecting myself. And oftentimes I don't have to do that. God got her. She's gonna get hers today. She's gonna get it. God saw what she did. And then for you to act like I'm in the wrong when I have the right of way to cross the street, and you see me pushing my stroller, and you wanna act like you wanna come up, the other guy was right here. He actually had the right of way to do turning. And I waited for him to make sure he was letting me go. And she, in the other lane, she really could have caused the accident doing it. You won't make the turn, because the only reason why she made the turn is because I walked up. I was about to bang her window. One thing is just, when it comes to my children, and the devil knows that. That's why he used that lady. That's why he's living in that lady who did that. He knows I don't play about my children, so he want me to go off, because he know how I am about my kids. And you don't play with me. Don't play with me. But I also had him invite to me in. She drove off. If she put in the window, drove, I probably would have punched the window, because she don't know me. She don't, yeah. One thing about me, I was telling y'all earlier in that video I did, hurt people the other day. I do believe in fighting fire with fire. I did. One thing about it is that water puts out fire. That water, because God is water. And we will talk about that in another video. But that water put fire out. That water put fire out. But, back to my little story. Hold on, let me see. Every time I'm doing a video talking, time is flying. So let me get back out here to this bus if I miss it. But one thing about it is the devil will try to throw you off your path, and you can't let him. But even when he do get in the way, and when he get into you, because the devil can only get in when you're weak and vulnerable, that's when he tries to get in. But one thing about it is, even when you do things that that you're not proud of, you don't have to sit there and soak in that, because things happen to everybody. We all make mistakes. We all do something or another that we wish we would have never done. You can't let those circumstances define you. You can't let every L that you've taken in life define you. You can't let that stuff, it does define you to a degree because it could either make you or break you. But you should let it make you versus allowing it to break you. Learn the lesson from it. Even if it was something that you did wrong to another person. Learn the lesson from that and learn how you can be a better person going forward. Because I think about a lot of things that I've done, a lot of risky things that BPD in me. I do a lot of risky things, and I could have been led into some bad situations, and sometimes I have been into some bad situations. But one thing about it is God had me through it. God is always watching, like I said, because he know you. He know what's going on. He know what people are trying to do. He knows people's motives when you don't even know. And that's why I just believe in letting go and let God. You don't have to sit there and be angry and upset and mad about what these people did and so resentful and mad about what you even did, facing a bunch of shame and guilt. You got to learn a lesson from it. Learn the lesson from that. Like for me, it's like all the questionable things I've done, it doesn't matter because I've learned from those things. Oftentimes it takes for us to do bad things, make mistakes, to even learn lessons. That's why I never feel like taking an L is an L. It's always a lesson learned for me. Like, it's not a loss, it's a lesson. Because in every loss, I take a lesson. And it builds me up for the next thing that God has for me. Like, if I would have never done all these things that has happened, I would have never found God. I wasn't taught God. I wasn't taught anything about spirituality. I barely was taught about religion. I wasn't taught these things. But it was through my toxic relationships, the toxic love that I've experienced, on how I have now this amazing, impeccable gift and relationship with God. So it's like I can't even be mad about all these people and all these things. In one breath, it is like, dang, how could that happen? But I don't soak in that because I'm so much more happier about the peace that I have after going through all that, the peace of the things that God has revealed to me, revealing these people to me. So I can't even truly be mad because at least I'm happy that God has removed me away from them people, So I just really feel like in life, you can't sit there and dwell in the bads and the misery and about what I could have, should have, would have done differently. Live every day like it's your last, because you never know when it's going to be. Work diligently every day to become a better person so that you're not having those woulda, shoulda, couldas. Oh, I wish I would have done that. Work every day on growing spiritually and mentally, and work on growing your relationship with God so that you can be filled with the discernment, so you can have good and sound judgment, so you don't have to worry about making these mistakes. But even when you make them, because of your lack of discernment, and God is the only one that can gift you with that gift of discernment. He's the only one that can do that. I should have, where did I leave my thing at? I don't remember where I left it at. My stroller. But even when, I promised this bus, I'm mad. Even when you're not at your fully tapped into your spirituality and truly understanding discernment and actually learning to follow your discernment, that intuition in you, until it's heightened where you can feel what's of God and what's not, what's right and what's wrong, you're gonna make the mistakes. And God see it as your good. He's gonna see it for your good. That's where you gain the wisdom. The whole book of Proverbs is about wisdom, the importance of wisdom. And you don't just get wisdom. You don't just get it. You have to work diligently towards that. Because the way the world is set up, we wasn't supposed to have to decipher between good and evil. But because evil was let into the world, because it was led into the world, now that's the only way you're going to be gifted with that full-on discernment, with the ability to have the wisdom. The only way you're going to learn it is through getting closer with God. He's the only one that's going to be able to do that for you. That's his way of making people get back to him. All the people who went astray and felt like, oh, why would God do this? Why would God do that? So I'm not going to believe in him no more. Life is going to continue beating you up until you put your faith back in him. Until you learn from your mistakes. Until you listen to him when he's showing you that this is not for you, this person is not for you. He's going to continue to do that. That is strolling. But he's going to continue to do that. And oftentimes people don't like to learn from other people's mistakes because they feel like they're so different. And when honestly, it takes a fool to not want to go based off someone else's mistakes, because people think, we all think we're so different when we're all humans. Humans have the same functionalities for the most part. So to think that you're so different, so that it just can't happen to you, that's foolish to think. And when you think like that, unfortunately, you're going to go ahead and do it. And then you're going to have to learn the consequence from that, you know? And at the end of the day, it still teaches you something if you're willing to learn from it. If you're willing to sit there and analyze and have a reflection and be self-aware about the things you've done instead of wanting to point the finger all the time. You know, just like as kids, your parents will tell you not to do something, you go and do it anyway. You go and do it anyway because you want to see for yourself. Like, I just think that's naturally in us, because even with my little daughter, my 1-year-old, I tell her not to do something, she does it anyway. I tell her stop playing in the drawers, she keep playing in the drawers, and then she hit her finger, now she crying. You know, sometimes they just gotta learn. You just gotta learn on your own. You gotta fall. You gotta take that L. But when you take that L, don't sit there and be like, oh, I should have never did that. You know, and you're gonna feel like that at first, but you have to learn to forgive yourself and ask God for forgiveness, and it will be forgiven. It will be wiped away. Your soul will have much more peace. Like, you know. So, yeah, y'all, just learn from your mistakes. You're going to make mistakes, learn from them. And if you can learn from other people's mistakes, learn from them. Don't think that you're so different that it can't happen to you, because God has an awesome way of humbling you. He will humble you. For all the, oh, that could never be me, just watch. Even when you think you've done it all right. Even when you think, oh, I did it the perfect way. I did it the perfect way. Even when you think you've done it perfectly, God will still have a way of humbling you. Especially if you're not tapped all the way in. You're not truly tapped in with God and truly following him. And when you're not following him, it's so easy for the devil to get in. When you don't know how to keep your armor of God on, it's so easy for the devil to get to you. So the very things that you thought could never be you, the devil will slide right in. And God would allow him to slide right in to show you, so that way you can take that L and then you'll be coming running, crying back to God. And that's what he be wanting. That's why a lot of times he let the devil get to us. But this bus is coming, you guys. So I'll see y'all in the next video. Deuces.